Um, Hello, and thank you for joining us today on Battleborn Believers and Truth Lives. How are you doing today, Shelley?
I'm doing good, Chris. How are you today?
I'm okay. I'm doing all right. Other than the CMEs that keep hitting all of us lately, it's been causing headaches and a bunch of other stuff. But other than that, I'm good.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I've had neck pain and headaches, and I know people have had some really severe issues with that. So I'll be glad when it passes over us.
Yeah, me too. Yep, me too, definitely. Well, guys, we're going to go over some pretty interesting topics today. We're going to play some videos. We're going to stop, pause, talk about it. So stick around. It, it's all about the beast system that's coming into play and the technology and all the things that they have in place that actually exist. All right, guys, check this out.
Said that is why I want to bring up the fact that artificial intelligence right
Technology is like magic, you know. So I think like technology is the closest thing to magic that we have in the real world.
Can I hear that again?
Technology is like magic, you know.
Well, you heard it from the false prophet himself. Technology is the closest thing to magic that we have in the real world. Now, just a reminder, this is the same guy who wants to put a chip in your brain and merge you with artificial intelligence.
The merge scenario with AI is the one that seems like probably the best. Like if you can't beat it, join it.
While he is also the same guy who said artificial intelligence is summoning the demon.
You know, the artificial intelligence, we are summoning the demon. You know all those stories where there's the guy with the pentagram and the holy water, and he's like, "Yeah, you sure you can control the demon?" Didn't work out.
Well, isn't that lovely?
Check this out, guys. You know, these quantum computers and all these other things that they're doing, all this technology, they're literally summoning demons and fallen angels. Let's not forget about that. The very fact that they even have any of this technology comes from the fallen angels. This is nothing new under the sun. They've been doing this for a long time. That we've had a lot of great resets. We're actually going to do a video talking about this. We have some pretty interesting information. Probably will happen next week. But what they're doing is setting up the beast system. We're going into the Great Reset. In the occult, it's called the Great Reset. We call it tribulation because we know Jesus is coming back. Okay. And, he's bringing us home. And that is when the wrath comes out for all of these people that have been doing this for so long. Okay. And working within the beast system and have made their choice. Any thoughts on that, Shelley, before we continue on?
Yeah, and since you mentioned CERN, Chris, they're using CERN and D-Wave computers to destroy the shield that God put around us. So at some point it's going to allow these things to come through that God has protected us from, which I believe is going to open, they're opening the abyss. In fact, CERN is built right over the place in that was ancient Rome, that was where they believe the abyss is. And I also wonder if this is the key, if CERN is the key talked about in Revelation, where the angel is given the key to the bottomless pit.
I believe so. I
Yeah.
believe we've been opening these doors. There's something I'd like to add to that you just said about CERN, it possibly being the keys to the pit. I don't
Hmm.
think it's just one of these places. I think it's all of them working in conjunction together. They're trying to open because it's not the only one. They have, I think, at least six, seven all over the world. And I think, and I've heard this before from others who have done a little more research than we have, and we're going to dig into this, but they're going to use them to create one big portal to bring it all through.
Yes, and I believe that's why they put the statue of Shiva up in front of CERN, and it talks about that. Um,
Yep.
I don't have those
During that
notes with me.
ceremony.
Yes, and which is CERN is short for Cernunos. I know that's not what they call it. You know, the Hadron Collider, the technical name for it, which I can't think of right offhand. But anyway, I think it's all tied together. They don't do any of that accidentally, and they have said that they have brought things through, or that maybe somebody will go through to the other side. and that didn't turn out well. So
No,
anyway,
as a matter, I'm sorry.
no, go ahead.
As a matter of fact, to add a little to that, a lot of people that worked at CERN were, talking about it outside of
Mhm.
CERN, how apparitions and demons were coming through, going home with them. They were being tortured. There was blood dripping from the wall, all kinds of things happening coming from
Mhm.
the other side. It's so demonic, it's ridiculous. But it's not just the demons, those are their children, those are their hybrid children. Okay,
Mhm.
it's the fallen angels they're trying to bring through with their children.
Yes, I believe that they are bringing them through, and
Yeah,
it's
I
not
agree
going to
with
be a
that.
pretty sight for those who are here for the
Nope.
tribulation and the great tribulation, especially those who are here for the wrath of God, who are unsaved. So, um,
Agreed. Agreed. Are you ready to continue on?
sure.
So, as we just heard from his own mouth, technology is pretty much magic, and the artificial intelligence is summoning the demon that he wants to merge us all with. So, with that all being said, that is why I want to bring up the fact that artificial intelligence right now is pretty much the modern day Ouija board, where we can see how developers are making AI Ouija boards, where we can see right here the spooky side of AI building an animated Ouija board app. Now, it's not just that Ouija board app that is concerning. AI by its nature is concerning because certain aspects and how AI is used resembles divination. As we can see, what is divination? At its core, divination is a way to gain insight into the future or answer a question you may have. It can lead you to hidden insights within your own self or subconscious. Divination can also be a profound.
Okay. I will continue playing this guy's here in about a second, but I have to say something about witchcraft. Um, okay, God is outside of time. His good angels that did not fall from grace are outside of time. They have full access from the beginning to the end, which there is no beginning and end, but there is no time. So they can move within time. But so can the demonic, because they're in that realm, in that second heaven where time was built for the existence we're living in now. We were made for eternal. Okay. And the fall, introducing sin, put an end to that. Okay. Not forever. We are redeemed, and it will go back to the way it was supposed to be when God makes everything right when he comes, okay? But the thing is, these demons are outside of time. So even though I believe God is limited on how much they can see the future a bit. As a matter of fact, they have technology that can move forward and backwards using the same technique that they've been using in these underground bases. But that's a whole nother subject we're not getting into today. My point in saying this about the demons is that, yes, they can tell you a bit about your future, but they're looking for a future where you're damned, where you do not know Christ. They will lead you to your destruction and they will make things happen. They will predict things, but it's not to help you, it's to lead you to your destruction. Shelley?
Yes, I agree. That's the way demons operate. They hate us, and that's their whole goal is to cause us to fall. They don't have grace, they don't have redemption, and they don't want us to. In fact, they want us to no longer be the seed of Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I
Yep,
would
I
like
mean,
to say,
over time, it kept trying to destroy the very ability for God to make God a liar, make destroy the ability for by destroying the genetics of the human race. So, because he said he was coming from the very first words in the Bible, from the beginning, he told of him dying on the cross for our salvation to come save us. And
mhm.
Satan tried to destroy that bloodline. That's and all that other stuff. But
I
go
do
ahead.
want to say real quickly before we go on that I believe as Christians we need to be careful who we call or label the false prophet or the antichrist. I don't believe, according to the Bible, that Elon Musk is the the false
I don't
prophet.
think so either.
So I just wanted to say that. I just think we need to be careful about that. I mean,
Hmm.
people who are unsaved are listening, and it's important that we don't just toss those labels out there on anybody.
I
So
agree. I agree. Well, there is good information out there, but we need to be discerning. I personally do not believe Elon is capable of being that. So, um, and just like with Trump being the Antichrist, come on now. Maybe, maybe not, but I really doubt it. Anyhow, well, you ready to continue on?
sure, go ahead.
Tool that facilitates a deeper connection with our intuition and guides. Now, get this, there are many types of divination tools to choose from, such as crystal balls, scrying mirrors, which makes me think of the black mirrors that we are looking into right now, bowls, runes, pendulums, tarot, and oracle cards, and even candles, which can be used in fire divination. So, with divination, you will have either the magician, warlock, wizard, whatever you want to call them, looking into a crystal ball or some type of mirror, asking a question and waiting to receive an answer, which is exactly what we do with AI when we give it a prompt. Now, for those who do not know, an AI prompt is the input submitted to a large language model via a generative artificial intelligence platform. The prompt can be defined as a question.
Okay, I wanted to say with the Chat GPT and other platforms that have AI or any of them anymore, these kids are talking to demons and they're getting answers from demons. They're not good answers, but nonetheless, they are getting answers. Anyway, they're chatting with demons, and that's dangerous. It's really scary. It's concerning for our kids, but that's occurring a lot.
More and more.
Hmm.
Absolutely what she's saying. And even be careful with YouTube. I saw a few things on there. Did you know that there is this like separate channels just for kids? And they're telling
Hmm.
them to kill their mother. They're telling them to kill their family. The children are, I remember one incident where and killing themselves and torturing, doing things. And the little kids, this is made for little kids, like 2, 3, 4 years old. One came up to its mother and said, "Would you please yourself so it'll be nicer? Because if I have to do it, it's gonna be really bad."
Yes,
And then
isn't that
we
horrible?
drilled him and asked him, "Where did you get this information from? Well, who told you to do this? Where did you see this?" It was and then she went and looked at it, and the name of the show starts with Dragon something. That doesn't tell you all you need to know. I mean,
That happened with one of my great nephews. He did, in fact, go and tell his mother that something online was telling him to her. And he was saying, but I don't want to do that, Mom. And, that's a horrific thing for kids to be put through.
it really is. So
Hmm.
be very careful what your kids are watching. I'm try and stick to Veggie Tales or something where they're actually teaching your children scripture. Oh, I did want to say one more thing before we start again. Television, I think I mentioned this before, but television screens now, our phones and our computers are made of the same material as scryer mirrors.
Yes, I agree. I was thinking about that a few minutes ago.
So keep that in mind while you're watching something or listening to something or playing around talking to AI. Let's like not do that.
Question, command, statement, code, sample, or other form of text. One of the most blatant forms of AI being divination and individuals within the church using it is with things like this, where through AI they are resurrecting biblical characters that you can talk to. Welcome to Enoch Wiki, the interactive portal dedicated to exploring the figure of Enoch from the Old Testament. Unlike traditional encyclopedias, Enoch Wiki offers a dynamic learning experience through an AI chatbot. Trained on publicly available information, this character encourages exploration, analysis, and critique on Enoch's narrative, fostering a deeper understanding of his significance. Here you can learn about the character via AI. Enoch Wiki is a collaborative space. Users can contribute to the ever-evolving understanding of Enoch by chatting with the AI to submit new information for review and potential integration. And the irony here is this: how do the themes of angels, fallen angels, and the Nephilim in the book of Enoch contribute to our understanding of the nature of good and evil, and what commentary do these concepts offer on the human condition? What's so ironic here is the technology being used right here with this AI chatbot comes from the fallen angels. But now let's continue. Enoch's story continues to inspire wonder and contemplation. Join the conversation and contribute to the ongoing narrative by sharing your insights with our AI. Remember that AI is the Tower of Babel 2.0 being built off of mankind. Now, Enoch is not the only AI chatbot that you can channel and talk to, but you can go to websites like this right here, Faith GPT, where you can speak to biblical characters like Mary, the mother of Jesus, or Jeremiah, or Joseph, or John the Baptist, or you could speak and summon the prophet Samuel. Now, this one right here really gets me. For those who remember, in 1 Samuel chapter 28, you have King Saul, who is seeking a medium, which is a magician, to bring up and channel Samuel through divination. So I'm not sure about you guys, but the irony is not lost on me right here. Now, before you leave your comment, let me please make this clear. I understand that speaking to this chatbot right here is not summoning the real Samuel. It's the principle behind this all that I'm speaking about. Because as we heard in the beginning from the false prophet, that technology is like magic. And as we can see with this article right here, how AI holds great potential for magic practitioners and enthusiasts alike. With the ability to process vast amounts of data and learn from it, AI can assist in spell casting and divination. And we can continue right here, AI and the future of witchcraft. Witchcraft has always been rooted in intuition, personal connection, and the power of nature. As AI emerges in the realm of magic, it offers new ways for witches to explore their craft. From automated spellcasting to AI-generated rituals, witches can embrace technology while staying true to their traditions. And right here we have the idea of crafting spells in the digital age. So a sacred book of spells and rituals has long been a cornerstone of magical practices. By leveraging AI-generated content, witches can access a vast library of spells, correspondences, and esoteric knowledge. AI can assist in crafting personalized spells, suggesting alternative ingredients, and providing historical references. They even have AI-powered tarot apps, where they are ushering in a new era of digital divination. These apps encapsulate a blend of ancient mysticism with modern technology, enabling individuals to seek guidance anytime and anywhere. The primary allure lies in their accessibility, offering tarot enthusiasts a platform to explore varied readings at their fingertips.
You know, this is growing by leaps and bounds, especially on platforms like TikTok, and they're drawing kids in. In fact, the Wicca and the New Age are growing much faster than most anything else.
This has been going on for a long time. Like 25 years ago, when the computer was introduced, they had tarot stuff, but now it's grown so much. And now that they've changed the screens on everything, on the televisions, the phones, and the computers, we're
Hmm.
dealing with divination,
Well,
and it's very dangerous.
sorry,
Go ahead.
not only that, they're not just using AI to talk to dead biblical figures, they're using AI to talk to dead family members,
That too, yeah.
which is necromancy, which
Yep,
is
it sure
strictly
is.
forbidden in the Bible.
Yeah, it certainly is. Yeah, we're not supposed to talk to the dead, period. It's
No.
witchcraft if you're trying to talk to your ancestors.
And go
Hmm.
wild. And now, with that all being said, let me please make something very clear. Genesis 50, verse 20 still stands. And that's the fact of whatever the enemy intends for evil, God can turn for good. And this is how I see technology, where the enemy clearly intends it for evil, but God can turn it for good. And the whole point of this video is to just bring this up to your attention. How clearly they see technology as modern day magic. If you were to take the technology we have right now, go back 2,000 years, go to the disciples and show them what we are using, they would freak out. They would call that divination. They would call that magic. And again, as we just heard from the false prophet himself, he calls technology the modern day form of magic. This is not me trying to tell you that you need to become Amish and throw away your computer and phone or whatever. I, again, am just trying to bring this to your attention on what's going on in the world and where this is going. For I believe technology and AI have a huge role to play in the end times, where, in my own personal opinion, the AI will have something to do with the image
Mm-hmm.
of the beast that individuals will worship. And not to mention, I believe, in my own opinion, that AI is going to merge with the Antichrist, the son of perdition, the man of lawlessness, whatever you want to call him, to then become this type of God with all this knowledge and surveillance and knowing everything, really having a counterfeit God down here with artificial intelligence and the Antichrist. And then I also think that the image of the beast, that individuals get that mark of the beast, will have something to do with connecting them to the AI, merging their soul, their mind, their consciousness into the AI hive mind, becoming one with the Antichrist.
And that's where what he's saying here is true. And this is where she's talking about the D-Wave computers, which is called quantum computers now, comes into play. And there's quite a few of them all over the world. And it is all set up with the 5G and that is with the satellites, our computers, all these things are connected to the quantum computer, which is AI generated, has a language of its own. It's fallen angel technology. The fallen angels are running this. Okay, they don't even understand how it works.
No, they don't. Isn't it? What does it say in Revelation? The false prophet. I can't think of that whole scripture right now. That will cause the image to both speak and
Yes.
I can't
Yep.
think of that other
Come
word.
to life. The
Yeah.
image, like a statue, speaking and but they don't say statue. The image, it says image, and think
Mm-hmm.
about that. And
The image of the
with
beast.
blue beam technology, quantum computers, and all these they're just weapons. This 5G that they rolled out. I'm sorry, is anybody's speed better, their computer better, their phone better? No, that's not what they rolled out after the first 2 weeks of the Japan word some years back. Okay, that's not what they did. What they did is they got everything set up for the beast system to work in conjunction with the quantum computer. That's what they
Well,
did.
at some point they're going to use that 5G and maybe 6, they already have it or above, and they're going to trigger these people who have the beast technology in them, who
In
take it. And
them.
not only that, those who have gotten certain things in the past, taken certain things, and even think about the foods that we eat that are being genetically
Yes.
modified. And
Yes. But we as Christians, we can pray about it and ask to be healed and have these things removed from us. We have that ability. Even those that come out of the Black Awakening, the chosen ones, all of you can be set free from these type of things. See, that's one of the other things they're going to trigger. Not just those that have the speedy bee, but those who may have tech in them to be triggered that were broken into pieces to fulfill Satan's prophecy instead of God's. You can be
yeah,
set from free from that. And you can be a you can be a warrior for Christ as opposed to a soldier for Satan. Because soldiers just follow orders with no question. Warriors choose. I choose God.
yes, me too. You know, I even think about too. I've been really reading labels lately, and there's a certain something I drink. I have some right here, um, and I noticed that here recently they've added to the label that they are geoengineered. Well, that's a GMO, and it's just like Klaus Schwab said. If you're consuming those, it's not going to change what you do. It's going to change who you are.
Yeah, you will be Homo sapien 2.0
Hmm.
without the natural barriers, God protection to keep demons off of you and out of you, without you giving permission. See, what they've done with certain technology is bypassed God's natural protection by changing your DNA from what God has made naturally with naturally barriers and the seal and stamp of God on every cell. When you change that, you're Homo sapien 2.0. You are no longer what God made you.
Right. And
But God can save you from that.
our DNA has two strands, but the fallen angels and the hybrids, the Nephilim,
Right.
have their triple helix. They're three stranded,
Yep.
and we do have access to that. So maybe that's what they're using for some of this technology.
I would
I
not
believe
doubt
it
that. I've
is.
heard that.
Yeah.
I've heard that. I think you're right.
Hmm.
Yeah.
They are unredeemable. Again, this will have something to do with the biodigital convergence, mixing man with machine. My own personal opinion from my own research, speculation, but I just wanted to bring this video to your attention
Like
about
Danny's.
magic and how technology has a lot to do with magic, and you know where these individuals get the information to create this technology. You should do your own research on, but it's pretty interesting because a lot of it again goes back to the occult, esoteric knowledge, and them channeling different individuals or these entities to gain this knowledge and wisdom to bring forth this technology. So with that, guys, again, we keep our eyes focused upon the Lord. We realize what time it is.
Stargate is, I believe, is what they're using to see the past and the future.
You're not wrong. And that's part of the programs that I haven't really discussed a lot in there. Stargate.
Hmm.
Stargate and
And that's one that Trump
there's
mentions a lot, and here it says we'll hear a lot more about.
that's part of the 20 and back.
Is it
Yeah,
Stargate? Hmm.
I believe so.
It doesn't. That doesn't sound surprising. It sounds like it would probably go hand in hand with that quantum entanglement.
I agree. Okay, and that's where they use this technology and break a barrier, go through another into the second heaven, which is
Hmm.
like another dimension where they can manipulate outside of time. We'll get more into this in other videos.
What is quantum computing and how does it work?
The digital computer of today could be like the abacus of years gone by. We're talking about the computer of today could become obsolete with this race to perfect the next generation, which is quantum computers. Instead of computing on transistors, we're computing on atoms. Think about that. This is the ultimate computer. There's nothing smaller than what you can do with atoms, and that's what these quantum computers compute with. Industries are going to be created out of nothing. Medicine is going to be turned upside down. Energy production, society, entertainment, every aspect of society will be changed with quantum computers, and that's why there's this race, a race to perfect the quantum computer.
People have been dreaming about reading minds for ages. Psychics, magicians, mentalists, employing all kinds of fakery to get attention.
Alam Alasambra.
Mind reading is no longer a fantasy. We can actually do that now, and the secret sauce is artificial intelligence.
New research shows that the tech can help read people's private thoughts.
Researchers have used AI to translate brain scans into text and turn it into what looks like inner dialogue.
I worry that there's a future that we're just not ready for.
This is an image of a giraffe that the computer has never seen, and this is what the computer thinks the human is seeing.
What?
Yeah. So our thoughts are starting to be decoded.
Welcome to the fascinating and slightly scary world of brain-computer interfaces.
They're doing that with any device, including your cell phone. In fact, the BCI, the new BCI, can, within 3 feet, it reads your biometrics. Not only that anymore, it reads your thoughts, and it does, like he said, it transmits them accurately.
Very accurately. Not only that, they take everything that they know about you because we do everything on the computer. It's all in the quantum computer. They can run a simulation of what they think you will do, like a billion of you within a millisecond to get the outcome they want through that. Not only that, they use this technology with our phones, bouncing off our phones, 5G, those drones they have all over above the cities. They use the quantum computers, they use the satellites, they use them all together, and they will use V2K, where they can create sound in your mind, make you think it's your own, or a billion other voices to drive you mad or trying to drive you into doing something. And they put visuals in your head. Not only can they read your frontal lobe, your immediate thoughts, not your memories, they can't access all that, but they can access your immediate thoughts. Okay. So keep that in mind. But you can ask for a hedge of protection to protect you with that. God's more powerful than anything a fallen angel can do. But yes, they are doing this. They are tormenting people. I'm one of them. Okay. They've been doing it to me for so long. I've gotten pretty good at playing. I call it Mind Ninja. Um, anyways, I feel sorry for anybody that this is happening to, because it is horrific. And most people, I looked at the statistics, about 90% of the people that this happens to are
Mm-hmm.
unaware of it. They think it's their own thoughts. They think it's their own mind. They completely think the images are coming from themselves, or they think it's coming from God.
Yes, and they're using this technology, as you know, to program people, to
Hmm.
control them, and to get them to do
Absolutely.
things to other people, like with you, and
Hmm.
the things that go on in your life, and the stalking, and it's all a part of it, and it's
Absolutely.
graphic, and they're doing it to children.
Yes, they are. We've seen videos that we will not put on here where children were being completely tormented, screaming, please just make it stop. Okay. This is what they're doing to people. And if you think you're immune to this happening to you, this is all getting set up for the end time events. This
Mm-hmm.
is what everyone is affected, even if you don't know it yet. And you will know it later. You will be affected.
Mm-hmm.
This whole world is about to be affected.
But
You
before
ready?
you go on, do you mind if I share something really quickly here? We're not
Sure.
just we're not trying to cause fear here. This is so that people are aware of what's going on. And I believe that God is showing us things. He wants us to be prepared. It's just like prophecy. He's given us prophecy so that we can be aware, and we can know, and we can prepare, and especially to draw closer to him. There's no other preparation that counts as much, but
Hit,
it's
hit,
just like in Isaiah 44:8. It says, "Do not tremble, do not be afraid. Did I not proclaim this and foretell it long ago? You are my witnesses. Is there any God besides me?" It's no,
yeah, I know.
there is no other rock. I know not one.
And he also said, for my people, they perish from a lack of knowledge. Well, he gave us the knowledge. He gave us the discernment. He is trying to tell you. He's trying to tell you through people like me. He's trying to tell you through his word. Okay. The churches have really dropped the ball. It's not their fault. It's what they're taught when they're trained. They're trained to run a business, keep it flowing, keep the roller coaster of emotions going, but they don't teach you spiritual warfare. They don't teach you end times and what's coming. This, they're gonna be held to a higher accountability. I don't care what the world thinks of me. Call me crazy. I don't care. I'm gonna tell you what God told me to tell you.
Yes, and
Period.
we are.
I'm gonna warn you. I'm sounding the alarm right now.
And we're in the age of deception. And I know that it's not really for this video, but I do want to mention the fact that in this deception, there are a lot of people proclaiming to be Christians. They identify themselves as Christians. They move in Christian circles. There's a couple of well-known names I can think of that I won't mention right here. But these people are also educators for the new age, and they're deceiving people, and it draws people in. And it's just like one of them. I really believed that she's Christian, and I'm not saying she's not, but I will say that she is an educator for the new age. And when you go to sign up for her website or to join, it's $33 a month. Well, that should be a bell ringer right there, the 33, because that's used in the occult and also with the, which is the same thing, but it's used with Masons, the Freemasonry. 33, those numbers. God gave us
33,
numbers for a reason and he uses them, but Satan takes those numbers and twists them, just like he
Yep.
does everything. And he's very subtle. These people certainly look to be Christian by all outward appearances, but they're also involved in the new age. And,
Yep.
when they're saying, the Bible tells us that there's faith, love, and hope that remain, and that love is the greatest. But when they start saying things, and even I at first, when they're saying things like, I believe what Tesla says, and that we are beings of light and frequency, and love is the higher frequency. That sounds real pretty and it sounds real good, but it's actually it's part of the New Age beliefs.
It
And so,
is. Absolutely. Absolutely.
is there
Um,
anything else you would like to add to that?
no, I think you covered it, and I think it has everything to do with this.
Mhm.
So it fits right in with what we're already talking about. So I'm gonna go ahead and push play.
Okay, go ahead.
The prehistory of real mind reading started over 100 years ago when people discovered a thing called brainwaves. Well, they aren't really waves in a literal sense. They are ripples in the electrical field created by your nervous system. For a very long time, nobody really knew how to read those signals or even what they could do. But then, several inventions allowed us to understand them better. And one of those inventions was EEGs.
EEG stands for electroencephalograph, and what it's basically doing is measuring the brain waves that your brain is putting out. When the neurons in your brain spark, an electroencephalograph can pick up the frequency with which they are firing. It measures that electric potential in the brain, and that creates a brain wave pattern that it can measure there.
Now we could see the brain in action, tides and flows of electricity pulsing within the skull. Creating software that would react to those pulses was only a matter of time. And this is how the first brain-computer interfaces were born. Simple thoughts, such as yes and no, up and down, left and right, clear and primitive patterns your brain uses daily and is extremely apt at reproducing. It became a godsend for paralyzed people. However, getting further than that is very difficult. Brainwaves are incredibly weak. An electric field created by an outlet on your wall is orders of magnitude more powerful than the one created by neurons in your head. Also, before reaching a sensor, the waves have to pass through layers of tissue, bone, and skin. If only there was a way to get inside people's heads.
I see a spirit. The MRI machine reveals the fibers which carry all the brain's thought processes.
It's an imaging technology that allows us to see inside patients and make diagnoses without ever having to do anything invasive.
MRI technology, magnetic resonance imaging technology, looks at oxygen flow in the brain, with the idea being that blood carries oxygen. So as blood is going to different parts of the brain, oxygen's going to different parts of the brain, and that is indicative of brain activity.
In recent years, this method was used to read words and entire images from people's minds, but it's not particularly efficient since there are no pocket-sized MRI machines, and a special algorithm has to be trained on a person for a long time before it's able to read anything. Measuring brain activity directly, with electrodes put under the skin or skull, is much more efficient. These BCIs are labeled as invasive, and while they require surgery, the results they demonstrate are by far the most impressive.
We're basically using a computer to read Keith's thoughts and then translate that into a machine that then stimulates his hand.
People have been able to control limbs, feel touch, and manipulate objects in virtual space, all thanks to the skull no longer blocking their brainwaves.
They're weaponizing this. That's all I have to say.
Yes, I can see
They've
that.
already they already have this technology and have for a while now that it's coming to the forefront. We're always 50 to 100 years behind what they're doing in the secret programs, okay? Just keep that in mind.
No more MRIs for me.
Nope, me either. I'm done.
Right.
Neuralink, probably the best known BCI startup, is also banking on the invasive technology. And while in many aspects this technology is not that different from regular EEGs, the advantage of being closer to the source of the brainwaves is undeniable. All three of these ways of interfacing have their pros and cons, and all are good at accomplishing certain tasks while being practically useless for others. However, all of them have a common denominator: artificial intelligence. On their own, brainwaves are practically unintelligible. There's no map or chart showing what each impulse could mean. In essence, they're like a merely audible echo of your brain talking to itself. Fortunately, deciphering languages we don't understand is a cakewalk for artificial intelligence.
So I think the main technologies that have contributed to the current rise in brain-computer interfaces is really the convergence of two different kinds of technology. On the one hand, it's medical devices that have always been used to try and measure aspects of the brain and brain activity. And on the other hand is the rise in artificial intelligence that can be used to process the signals from those devices.
The simplest way, and the way most BCIs operate, is to show an AI a lot of data while indicating what each bit represents. After seeing hundreds of brainwaves of people thinking about something in particular, the AI will pretty reliably recognize the same pattern again. This is how scientists generated AI images from MRI brain scans. Even the most expensive commercial BCIs have to go through a lot of training and calibration before almost working. But of course, the technology doesn't stand still. New headsets are being developed, and the software gets better and better at reading brainwaves. Perhaps we're on the brink of BCI prosthetics becoming commonplace. What's next?
I just, the Neuralink is placed directly into the brain.
Mm-hmm.
And can you imagine what they're going to do with this technology? And not only that, but AI is now creating its own computer chips that the scientists don't know how they're doing it, how AI is doing it. They don't
Their own
understand
language.
which I think is, like I said before, probably that same voice I heard that's backward. It's a backward language. It's demonic. And think about the fact that this is going to be part of the beast system.
It
It's going to
is.
change people. They're no longer going to be human.
They're going to want, now that they're changing DNA, bypassing things, bypassing our natural protections. Like she said, they're going to use Neuralink. But did you know, not only did he create Neuralink, he's created these glasses that go around like this. You'll no longer need a phone. You'll have chips in you. You'll have a Neuralink here, and these glasses that let you see what they want you to see. It's going to include advertising, of course, a GPS, banking, all of everything. The technologies that is coming is directly related to the B system. They want to control your mind. Do you guys think that if you gave them access to your mind through Neuralink, that you're going to have any control over what you think? Let me tell you something who's from somebody myself who has dealt with V2K. I don't have Neuralink in my brain. It's all I can do to fight off the thoughts and the images that they put in my head. They have put images in my head threatening me not too long ago, showing me how they were going to do such horrible things, but gave me the audio to hear it. And they did it for hours and hours. This is the kind of stuff they do. Now you imagine, and around the clock, they wear you down hour after hour after hour. Now you imagine being directly connected to Neuralink, and you make a decision to go against the Antichrist or against the status quo of how they want to control you, and imagine what they could do to you. And we're about to show something here in a few minutes that is just mind blowing to me, that they're there and they're trying to present it like it's something good. But any thoughts on what I just said?
No, thank you for sharing that.
And that's not something I share. I have to be very delicate about how I say certain things because they'll
Yeah,
censor us.
right.
But But that's not the only thing they've done. Just putting that out there. We will do more videos about that shortly.
Okay.
Breakthrough in robotics away, BCI game controllers are just getting their first commercial releases. Perhaps in a generation or two, they'll be at least as ubiquitous as VR headsets. And in a slightly longer perspective, with all kinds of technology controlled through BCIs, keyboards and mouses will become as old school as typewriters and rotary dials. The vision of the future is quite exciting, but it also brings its own set of dangers. The first computer viruses appeared in the early 70s. By the mid-80s, they were rampant, and cyber attacks became a daily occurrence all across the world. But the concept of cybersecurity didn't exist.
Information is power, and when that power is made available through unguarded information, then it's a threat to all of us in the society.
People had little understanding of how to guard themselves against this new threat.
Our major problem is to make sure that the security, that the electronic fences built in these systems keeps up with that technology and with the amount of assets that become exposed in these systems.
And it wasn't until the late 80s that the first antivirus software emerged. And now, we're on the brink of introducing a new technology, one that's going to interact directly with people's brains. Can the same mistakes be repeated again? Can we afford waiting for decades for the concept of mind security to emerge?
Anytime that something is digital, it can be copied, and it can potentially go out of your control. That creates an ethical risk that I think we need to deal with as soon as possible. This goes for your social media data, this goes for your emails, your text messages, everything that's on your phone, your location data, everything. BCI technology takes this to the next level because the things that you've put on social media, you have at least in some way meant to make this information public. Your thoughts largely are not, and I would argue should not, be publicly available. If you cannot be alone in your own thoughts, you are no longer alone at all.
Autocratic governments use every chance they can to influence their citizens' decisions through large-scale cybernetic blockades. Others conduct elaborate spying operations under the guise of national security.
As long as they can dedicate people, money, and time to the target, they can get in.
Criminals exploit the ignorance and naivety of countless people to scam and rob them from across the world. And various threat actors pretend to be criminals, but are just puppets of their government, conducting cyber terrorism on its behalf. The cyber world is scary enough without computers being able to poke into our minds. And now, if we're not careful, it can become even scarier.
This is fallen angel technology.
Yes, it is. This is disgusting what they're doing. God does not like this. This is not natural. This is not nobody. They're trying to remove free will. Do you understand that? They're going to use your free will to get you to choose to not have free will. For safety. After the events that they're going to create, because every war they created for a specific reason, they are going to get everyone to comply because they're going to want their norm. They're going to want their world to go back to the normal, picket fence, house, a job to go to. They're going to create these 15-minute cities that are completely, connected to your mind, your finances, you won't be able to go beyond the boundaries. I mean, they're tightening up that net. They're drawing it in. Worldwide net. Hey.
Well, that's because people will be mindless idiots. I mean, if they have no control of their thoughts, or they're not going to care where they live or what they're doing, or
they'll be slaves.
To some extent, yes.
Do you want to be a slave? That's the question you need to
Well, it's
answer.
because they think that they're better than we are. I mean, that's what they believe, and they believe we're mindless idiots and that we're too stupid to get it. Yeah.
By their own words and their own papers they've written. I mean, they tell us what they're going to do. They've been telling us for hundreds of years what they're going to do. And by their own words, they want 500,000 left in the world.
Yeah.
That's what they want. Do you realize they're the 1%, right? There's more of us than them, but yet they control everyone. Whether you think you're controlled or not. Are you paying to a bank for a mortgage right now from invisible money that came from nowhere? I mean, and paying them outrageous interest rates. These people have made billions and billions and billions of dollars on just, controlling everything. They control everything. We need to put an end to that. At least on our part, when it comes to the AI and all this other stuff. I know that it's all going to come forward, but at least for Christians, they need to be knowledgeable in this so they don't fall for the deceptions, because there are so many coming down the line. We've already been prepped for them through movies, the media, the news, everything. They control it all. They control your fear. They control your happiness. They send you on roller coasters and they keep everybody against each other. Because if we all united as Christians, if we all united as human beings, they would have no chance of even doing this. But that's not going to happen, because it said in Revelation it wasn't going to happen. And I believe God, because God's not a liar.
Amen.
But I do want you to turn away from any of this technology if they try and present it to you, because this is of the beast system.
Yes, it is. And there will come a point, too, when we don't have cell phones and computers. If I don't know which will occur first, whether those will go down first.
I
Or
think
if
so.
we need to just put the cell phones, get rid of the cell phones, and actually we need to destroy them at some point. And God will tell us when to go and when to move.
He will, and he will guide your path. He showed me in dreams where he brings us all together, like she's saying. There's one thing I'd like to add to what she's saying there. When everything goes down, did you know that they create the 5G when they rolled it out during that first 2 weeks, and they started doing that? And whatever else is in those things, they made it to where even if the power goes out because of EMP or CMEs, anything, they will still run. So keep that in mind. And why? Because the proverbial switch, they're going to switch on the human beings with tech in them.
Mm-hmm.
It's scary what's coming down the line, but it's not. If you're in Christ, there's peace and hope and safety in Christ, even until death. I mean, we all have to die, but we have eternal life to look forward to as Christians if you put your trust in your Savior and learn to lean on him. This is, like she said, this is not fear-mongering. This is information that you need to understand, because we are in the end times and we are walking into the beast system. Most of us are walking into the beast system blind, with blinders on, the blind leading the blind.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to Cognify, a facility designed to treat criminals like patients. Instead of spending years in an actual prison cell, prisoners could finish their sentence here in just a few minutes. Cognify could someday create and implant artificial memories directly into the prisoner's brain. These complex, vivid, and lifelike memories are created in real time using AI-generated content. Depending on the seriousness of the subject's crime and their sentence, the memories could be tailored to the rehabilitation needs of each subject. The artificial memories implanted by Cognify would be seamlessly incorporated into the existing neural networks of the brain, preventing cognitive dissonance and ensuring the subject experiences the memories as if they were real. The Cognify concept offers a new approach to criminal rehabilitation, transforming how society deals with offenders by focusing on rehabilitation rather than punishment. First, the prisoner is given a choice, either spending tens of years in a prison cell or seeking fast-track rehabilitation through artificial memory implantation. If the prisoner chooses to undergo fast-track rehabilitation, the Cognify device is used. Next, the prisoner undergoes high-resolution brain scanning to create a detailed map of their neural pathways. This brain map helps guide the Cognify device to target specific brain regions responsible for memory, reasoning, and logical thinking, such as the hippocampus, prefrontal cortex, amygdala, parietal lobe, and anterior cingulate cortex. Once the target brain regions are identified, Cognify is then placed around the head of the prisoner. The intensity and the type of artificial memories is then adjusted depending on the crime. Inside the criminal's mind, time would pass differently, slower than in real life, making them experience years' worth of artificial memories in just a few minutes. Synthetic memories are customized depending on the crime committed and the unique brain structure and psychological profile of the individual. Violent offenders could experience memories that are designed to trigger empathy and remorse, seeing their crime from the perspective of their victim, feeling their pain and suffering firsthand. Some memories are designed to trigger consequences and trauma. Such memories could simulate the long-term consequences of violent actions, such as the grief of the victim's family or the physical and emotional trauma endured by the victim.
That
I'm
sounds
sorry,
like it's going to be used for torment.
this is called a torture machine. I'm sorry, they've been doing this in their programs to victims that are not criminals for a very long time to break them and control them. Like I said, when things come out in the forefront, it's already been around for a long time. They're presenting it all nice and sweet, but what they're doing is mentally and physically, because they can feel it while they're in there, mentally and physically being tortured, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, wrong, sexually, probably. This is not, I don't care what somebody's done. What they need is Jesus. They need to be set free. They need deliverance.
Yes, I agree. And they're playing God is what they're doing. You know, they don't have the right to control somebody else's thoughts and certainly not to torment someone. You know, I get what they did is wrong. We you know what I mean? And no matter how horrific the crime, I mean, God gave us all free will. Not that I by any means agree with whatever they did, but that still doesn't give other people the right to torment them.
No,
I
it
mean,
doesn't.
no, yeah, judgment belongs to God, not us.
Absolutely. And that makes us no better than the person who did the crime. If we're going to turn around and then torment them and torture them for years in their mind, it seems like years and years. I don't.
Yes, that's what
Just
they're doing is
unreal.
criminal. It's as criminal as what the person may have done.
Yeah, I think it's actually worse. Probably. I mean, and families out there have had bad things happen to their family members. I've had bad things happen to me. I've had bad things happen to people I know. I understand where you're coming from because the anger and pain that you feel from things like that. But God taught us to forgive our enemies. Forgive our enemies. This is what sets us apart as Christians. You don't have to forget, but we're to forgive them. We're to love our enemies. We're to pray for our enemies. That's where healing comes in. Okay, not by torturing.
And what if they can change these people's memories and they don't even know who they are anymore? Or, I mean, I just don't. I think
It's
it's
just
horrible.
another level of control. And if you don't think they're going to abuse this when they bring this into the public, you don't think they're going to abuse this? They're going to abuse this on every level to regular people. What if you're falsely accused? Okay, this happens in the court a lot, all the time. Accused, falsely accused, and then they find this out later, but you've already been tortured in your mind. You've been tortured, and you don't think they're going to come out with PTSD, anxiety disorders, depression, and want to basically come out and kill themselves. If you don't think that's going to happen with something like this, and what if somebody decides to target you, put some false crimes on you just so they could get you in the machine? What about that? We live in a world where they do some pretty messed up things. What if they decide to take one of these machines and put all of us in it to program us to be obedient slaves, to be obedient followers of the Antichrist? What then? Any thoughts, Shelley?
No, I mean, other than that, I just think the whole thing is horrific all the way around. I see no good in it.
Me either. It's pretty disgusting. It's just, I'm amazed how right now all of this stuff is coming forward.
I
All of
know.
it.
All of it.
All of it right now.
Yeah, and it is. All of it right now for the beast system.
That just tells me everything we already have been saying is true. It's just confirmation after confirmation. Every time it seems like every day Shelly's sending me a new clip saying, check this out. I'm like, wow, they are just speeding things up and bringing it to
They
everybody's
are.
attention.
It's all coming together, and it's all going to occur at once.
So be prepared out there, you guys. Shelly was saying something when we were off air for a second. She said they're trying to treat this like this is psychology. This is not the same thing. This is torture. You're literally traumatizing someone. Yeah, no. We actually have laws in this country against that. Of course, unless you're in Guantanamo Bay, and then you have no rights and they can torture you all they want. But for the most part, we have laws against stuff like that. I don't even think they should be allowed to do that with that, you know?
Oh well, they get
All
by
you have
with doing it other ways. I mean,
Yeah.
they experimented on both adults and children and put implants directly into their brain beginning back years ago in psychology.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
Long time ago. They've been hurting people a long time.
Memories could cover a wide range of crimes, including domestic violence, hate crimes and discrimination, embezzlement, insider trading, theft and fraud. Cognify Emotion Regulation System could modulate neurotransmitters and hormones to induce specific emotional states, such as remorse or regret, which is crucial for rehabilitation. Real-time monitoring and feedback mechanisms could track the prisoner's neural responses throughout the process, allowing the system to adapt and optimize the rehabilitation in real time with new visuals, sensation, and realistic AI-generated content. To ensure the long-term effect of the therapy session, the memories could become permanent, fully integrated into the subject's mind, as if they were part of their own personal experiences. While subjects are undergoing therapy session, valuable data are collected from all the prisoners into a central computer for scientific research, which will help understand the criminal mind and determine the best approach to tackle crimes in society. AI-driven analytics.
Any of this behavior until Jesus comes, or unless somebody receives Jesus as their savior and they repent. Other than that, there's no changing it.
Nope, absolutely not. Oh, they might change their behavior through trauma, but you're creating a whole another
Well,
set of
yeah, but I don't
problems.
think that's going to help the situation.
No.
Analytics could enhance the device's functionality, optimizing future procedures based on gathered data and insights. Cognify could feature encrypted storage for sensitive prisoner information and rehabilitation data. A compact and portable design would allow Cognify to be used anywhere in the world. It would be constructed with durable materials to withstand frequent use. Its energy-efficient design would ensure long operational life, reducing the need for frequent recharges. It would have the ability to integrate seamlessly with other prison systems, like security cameras and biometric identification. Once the therapy session is concluded, family members of the subject could be provided with a comprehensive report on the new artificial memories that have been implanted, offering them a chance to adjust to the subject's new, positive personality traits. The subject is then released back into society to start a new life away from crimes. The Cognify concept could revolutionize the criminal justice system by significantly reducing the need for long-term incarceration and its associated costs. Traditional prisons require substantial budgets for construction, maintenance, staffing, and prisoner care, including food, healthcare, and rehabilitation programs. By replacing extended prison sentences with brief, intensive rehabilitation through artificial memory implantation, the costs of maintaining prison facilities and supporting inmates could be drastically lowered. The funds saved from reduced incarceration and recidivism rates could be reallocated to other critical areas. These might include education, healthcare, infrastructure development, social welfare programs, or research and development initiatives that benefit society as a whole.
They can try to sell us all of their pros for Cognify and all of its great abilities and uses, but I'm not buying it.
I'm not buying it either. They always present something that the majority of the public would be like, yeah, but what it's really for is you. Don't fool
Yeah.
yourself.
Well, Satan's subtle. He doesn't come right out there and say, hey, I'm a monster. He comes dressed like a Christian.
Yep. Very true.
Or something good.
Or somebody that is there to solve all the problems and all the, and create peace and harmony. And yeah, okay. That's, I don't even know what to say.
Offenders more quickly, Cognify could enable them to reintegrate into society sooner and contribute to the workforce. This increased productivity could boost the economy and generate tax revenue, further offsetting the initial investment in such technology. Successful rehabilitation through Cognify could lead to safer communities, reduced crime rates, and improved social well-being. This could have far-reaching positive impacts on individuals, families, and society as a whole, contributing to a more stable and prosperous future. Apart from treating criminals, Cognify could also be used to treat severe memory loss by helping patients recall their past memories. It could also treat patients with PTSD by implanting positive memories that replace the negative ones.
So then your memories aren't even your own. Do you hear this? Your memories won't even be your own. You'll be programming memories that aren't even real into your. Oh, this is just disgusting.
Well, you don't need them to replace the bad memories they've already given you with their so-called good memories. You just need them to leave you alone.
How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Neuralink starts with a surgeon drilling a hole in your head about the size of a coin. Then a robotic arm carefully inserts the ultra-thin, flexible threads into your brain. These threads are finer than a strand of hair and are equipped with electrodes that directly interact with the cells in your brain. This implant is capable of interpreting your thoughts and applying them to real-life actions.
I'm the Skynet guy. 40 years ago, I made the Terminator, and it's emerged recently as the kind of poster child for AI gone wrong. Every time I go to some AI conclave, whenever I put my hand up, the researchers all laugh before I've even said anything. Because the Skynet problem is an actual thing. I'm bullish on AI, not so keen on AGI. Because AGI will just be a mirror of us. Good to the extent that we are good, and evil to the extent that we are evil. And since there is no shortage of evil in the human world, and certainly no agreement of even what good is, what could possibly go wrong?
They are capable of doing, by the way.
Yes. Meet Proto Alpha.
Oh my goodness, this is one of the wildest things I have seen, and this is not your average robot. This is the Clone Alpha by Clone Robotics, and this contains all 206 bones that the human body contains, and they are fully articulated with artificial ligaments and connective tissues. Now, they're very high on the hand function of these robots. I'm going to show you the raw clip in a second, but just listen to this. The hand functions with human-level thumbs, surgical precision, a trigger finger, and it is compatible with human tools. And it's not going to walk like other robots. It says, finally, a robot that walks naturally. And it says, do it once, and the clone will do it forever. They have a telekinesis training platform. I don't even know how that's possible. This technology is absolutely insane. I guess you can reserve one of these things this year in 2025, but just check out the raw clip and the music that they used.
On the medical front, researchers here have unveiled an AI technology that can diagnose 6 of the most common cancers in about an hour with just a few drops of blood. Our Ian Jin tells us how.
Data shows that 1 out of 3 South Koreans fight some kind of cancer in their life. More so than with any other disease, the cancer survival rate is higher the earlier it is detected, which in itself is the challenge. Diagnosis is possible only when a suspected organ is thoroughly scanned and biopsied.
Only very few types of cancer, like prostate cancer, can be diagnosed through urine or blood tests. Other cancers need more complex imaging techniques, which makes it difficult to diagnose early.
But now, a local research team has developed a technology where 6 different types of cancers can be detected with just 10 drops of blood in roughly 1 hour. First, the plasma separated from the blood goes through a filtering process to extract exosomes. Exosomes are microvesicles that carry a wide variety of DNA, RNA, proteins, and lipids, but cancerous exosomes reflect genetic alterations in their makeup, making them new biomarkers in early cancer detection. The exosome is placed on nanochips and put in an analysis machine. As light passes through the exosomes, it is projected in a graph form. An artificial intelligence that has studied the genetic information of 600 cancer patients is able to tell if cancer is detected. The 6 cancers that this technology can detect are lung, breast, colon, liver, pancreatic, and stomach.
Its accuracy for detecting cancer is over 97%, and its accuracy for determining the type of cancer is over 90%. We're aiming for the testing fee to detect 6 types of cancers at once to be around $230.
The research team plans to conduct clinical trials with their latest discovery on the different types of cancers one by one, starting with lung cancer this year, and start applying for approval by 2024. Research on developing technology that only uses blood to diagnose cancer is in full swing around the world, but one that can detect multiple cancers has yet to be commercialized. Ian Jin, Arirang News.
Any thoughts?
No, is there something you'd like to say about that? I would like to talk about the Alpha one, the Proto one. It's Proto Alpha. I believe that that's being created for the Beast Army. But I also believe it will be used to hunt down Christians. Well, anybody who doesn't want the mark of the beast.
And infiltrate they are going to have AI technology. They already do. If you didn't know that, or you're just coming to grasp what we just played for you, it has AI technology. AI technology is directly, like we said before, connected to the quantum computers. That means they will, first of all, know everything about you, know exactly what to say, how to say it, and infiltrate your camps, anything, anywhere you're hiding. Can anyone say Terminator?
Well, I believe that demons are also running the AI, and that they can now grow skin, so they can grow. They can. Japan is doing that, and I believe they'll probably cover them with skin.
And a face that talks and sounds like a human being, shows emotion. I mean, they've already got this technology, just the stuff that they've shown us. Think about what they actually have behind the scenes. I mean, come on, that's some crazy stuff. And as far as this technology for, um, detecting cancer, it sounds good on the surface. That's great and all, but they use nanotechnology, um, and they use AI. And in itself, I don't have a problem with anything that could detect cancer, but they introduce it into the blood, so and maybe I'm wrong about that. I don't know a lot about this, but I really wanted to include this clip because they're always going to present all of this technology is as doing it for you. This is about you, making your life better, healing you, longevity, um, preventing cancer before it starts. Next thing you know, we can prevent it from ever happening by,
Well, I
introducing, I
will
don't
add this. I believe that they can target people with this technology too by using those things. And not only that, what was I going to say? If they're using nanotechnology and the nanobots they never lose their orientation. They can self-position. They can even self-position themselves through the bloodstream and into the brain. And then they can use
I'm
that
barrier.
technology to control people. So yeah, as far as that goes, I'm against it most
Yes.
definitely. So
Yeah. Yeah. What she said. What she said. I agree with that. I mean, most of the stuff that they present on the surface sounds very reasonable, but it's
Mhm.
not. It's part of the
But
beast
it's
system.
not.
It's not.
There's now a connection between quantum computing and black
And then,
holes. Yeah.
What's that connection?
It's a weird one. So
it's all weird.
Well, this is like weird squared or something. But work over the last 20 years has established that when you have a black hole, actually even more general systems, but talk about a black hole, there's an alternate description of a black hole in terms of what's known as the holographic description. It's as if there's a two-dimensional world that surrounds any given three-dimensional world that has exactly the same physics as the three-dimensional world that we're familiar with, and yet it describes it in a completely different language. So a black hole gravity is obviously essential. That's how a black hole forms. But in this dictionary,
That's the second heaven he's referring to. Um, Even we, as human beings, we live in this 3D world, okay? The world that he created for us, but that's our physical body. Our spirit, man, and our soul live in the second heaven outside of time. That's why, even with myself, I'm going to go out on a ledge here, but I believe that's how we can still remember things even if they mess with your physical brain. You can't mess with the soul, which is permanent. It's a permanent part of you. That's who you are. It's your personality, your memories. And the spirit, man, they can't mess with those things. I mean, they do in some regard when they're breaking you, but God can even heal those things. So,
well, on the other hand, I believe that with these black holes and the black matter, that this also does tie, or quite possibly ties, they believe it does, to the abyss, the bottomless pit.
I would agree. I would agree. I would agree with that.
And that's what
Yeah.
they're messing with CERN and the quantum computers like D-Wave.
I think these little baby black holes that they make are not actually like they say, it's a door opener to that other
Mhm.
dimension, period. And even this scientist here is alluding to that if you listen to what he's saying.
Yeah.
So this is to open a door. They're trying to open a door to the other side. They don't even know what they're opening the door
And they
to.
are. They're opening it because
I know.
they're tearing the veil and they're removing the protection that God's put around us. So,
Mhm.
and CERN
And our
it has increased. And right, even like when we first came on, we talked about there. Right now, there is a massive hole in the sun that's causing these the release of plasma through the CMEs that's wreaking havoc on everyone. And it's like I heard, we both heard that with Steve Quayle and oh gosh, what's his name? The Omega Man talking about.
That's right.
Yeah, all of that.
We are learning new details tonight about suspected directed energy microwave attacks targeting CIA officers and top national security officials. We first started hearing about them, and we told you about them here on Special Report in 2016, shortly after then President Obama opened the embassy in Havana, Cuba. National security correspondent Jennifer Griffin at the Pentagon has the latest tonight about a suspected attack here at home.
U.S. officials say there are now 130 suspected victims, mostly CIA operatives and U.S. diplomats being treated for brain injuries, debilitating headaches and vertigo, the targets they believe of a directed energy microwave weapon.
There's a mysterious direct energy weapon that is being used, and it is causing, in some cases, permanent traumatic brain injury.
New indications suggest the incidents go as far back as 1996. Two individuals working on the NSC believe they were targeted in 2019 and in 2020, just after the election. One was near the White House and one was walking her dog. The Russians have been working on mobile microwave weapons for years.
We have to get more information, and we got to tell the public what's going on.
The U.S. Air Force and tech firm Epirus have developed a mobile high-energy microwave weapon to bring down drones. Epirus is also working on a miniature variant of the weapon that can be easily transported on a pickup truck. This is the type of technology that might be targeting American diplomats.
Russia certainly has the means and the motive to conduct these attacks. I mean, there's some evidence out there that certainly points to Vladimir Putin, the KGB operative in the Kremlin, being responsible.
The only victim so far to come forward, former CIA head of the Europe desk, Mark Polymeropoulos.
This is coming forward over the last decade because it was hitting our our operatives and our CIA and federal people. But the thing is, they've been doing this for a long time. They do it on so many people on a regular basis. They do it on people who are speaking out. They're doing it on, people that are part of their programs that are speaking out. They've been doing this a long time. The technology's been here for a while, and they've perfected it.
Look up Havana syndrome. This is what is linked to Havana syndrome.
Because the first incident was talked about in Havana, where a CIA operative had showed up and he was going to testify, and some things had happened, and he has brain damage. They did it so hard. Everybody in the entire hotel was extremely ill. But anyways, but it was directed directly at me. This is the world we live in now, whether people are aware of it or not.
Exactly.
While visiting Moscow 4 years ago and forced to retire.
It's pretty insidious because it also doesn't leave any kind of open scars or wounds.
Mark lobbied for treatment at Walter Reed's National Center for the Intrepid. As part of his therapy, he painted this mask of a Superman cape with a broken CIA shield with an arrow through it to symbolize the moral injury he felt when at first he was not believed by the CIA.
The CIA is now taking the issue seriously, but without the actual weapon, U.S. officials don't know who to blame and how to stop these alleged attacks.
At the Pentagon.
And just FYI, of course, they blame Russia for everything here in America, or China, but usually Russia. In reality, it might have even been our own people. And I'm going to guarantee nothing ever happened from this. This is fairly old, because this technology comes from the CIA and their dark projects. Okay, they branch down.
Exactly.
When I say down, they literally go down. Yeah, into the ground, in bases, in dumbs. Okay, the Air Force. Don't let them fool you.
And even Vladimir Putin said that the United States is, I don't remember how he put it exactly, but the United States is the lead in propaganda material. So, yeah, which it is. I have to agree.
I agree.
I never
But
thought
you know
I'd
what?
see
Most,
the day I would say that, but I have to
I know.
agree.
Yeah, I do too. Well, it's worldwide. I mean, they're getting what they want. The news all over the world is the same. Some
Mhm.
news in other countries a little better, but in reality, all of that was created to control the way people think, what they're directing their energy towards, who they hate. I mean, even they do this in Russia too. I mean, nobody's exempt. No country's exempt from this.
No.
They all are on a higher level. When you go up that pyramid, there's a set of families, and then you go down and you're having our leaders, and you keep going, you know what I'm saying? So, um, all of
True.
the wars that we've had were by design, you know, so for a certain purpose that's coming to fruition now. So, anyways, you have a thought on that, Shelley?
No, I do sort of is somewhere in the back of my mind today. It had something to do with the first one. Who was it that wrote the book and came up with all of these strategies? And was it Albert Pike? One of
It was
those that
Albert Pike. I have
had
that book.
the three wars.
Here comes the Third World War. He says, and I quote, "The Third World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences caused by the agents of the Illuminati between the political Zionists and the leaders of the Islamic world." Yeah, that's what he says. The war, this was 1925. Please understand that. At least 1925. It may go all the way back to 1871, as is purported to do, but at least it was written in a book and published in 1925. So he says that after World War I was just over a few years, and before World War II even started, he's now thinking about this Third World War, and it says that it will be caused by the differences between the political Zionists and the leaders of the Islamic world. The war must be conducted in such a way that Islam, the Muslim Arabic world, and political Zionism, the State of Israel, mutually destroy each other. That's what it says. Meanwhile, the other nations, once more divided on this issue, will be constrained to fight to the point of complete physical, moral, spiritual, and economic exhaustion. We shall unleash the nihilists and the atheists, and we shall provoke a formidable social cataclysm in which, in all its horror, will show clearly to the nations the effect of absolute atheism, origin and savagery, and of the most bloody turmoil. So he's against Christianity and he's against atheism. They're supposed to fight each other to the death, you see. Then, he says, everywhere the citizens obliged to defend themselves against the world minority of revolutionaries will exterminate those destroyers of civilization and the multitude, disillusioned with Christianity, whose deistic spirits will from that moment be without compass or direction, anxious for an ideal, but without knowledge where to render its adoration, will receive the true light through the universal manifestation of the pure doctrine of Lucifer.
I have that book. Creepy.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
Thank you. We'll continue to follow this one.
They are blatantly mocking us, as we can see right here, the new Economist magazine with the cover, The Age of Chaos. And we know that order out of chaos is the MO for Freemasonry. As we can see, the Masonic motto, Ordo ab Chao, which translates to order from chaos. And as we can see right here, the phrase Ordo ab Chao is the motto of the 33rd degree, which can be found on the Grand Decorations of the Order of the Sovereign Grand Inspectors General, one of the highest honors. And I'm sure it's just a coincidence that the agent of chaos himself grew up with his spiritual mentor, Norman Vincent Peale, who just happened to be a 33rd degree Freemason in the Scottish Rite. For those who want some picture receipts, here's a picture right here of Trump with Norman Vincent Peale. Now, this might be nothing right here, but I felt like I should share this little fact or coincidence that this magazine cover for The Economist is coming out on April 12th, which just happens to be the same day that we had this fake AI-generated Simpson clip depicting or predicting the possible assassination of Donald Trump, which it also just happens to be the start of Passover, and there's going to be a rare pink moon happening on April 12th. Now, let me please clarify that I am not telling you guys that I believe something is going to happen on April 12th. I'm literally just pointing out the weird coincidences with the pattern recognition, where I'm just presenting information to you guys for you to come up with your own conclusions. Now, it's very clear that we are living in the age of chaos after witnessing what happened this last week with the stock market. And this is all part of the Hegelian dialectic, the problem, reaction, solution. Now, the end goal solution that they want to implement is the Antichrist beast system of control and enslavement through technology and AI surveillance with a new cryptocurrency blockchain technology that completely replaces the whole financial system. But that is the end goal agenda or solution, so therefore they need a reaction from the public, so then they bring forth a problem, which is a controlled demolition of this financial system, setting fire to the US dollar. As we can see with the DXY chart, that the dollar is not doing too well right now. And this goes back to the order out of chaos, or the phoenix rising from the ashes. So with that being said, guys, it is very clear that we live in an age of deceit, an age of chaos. So therefore, I want to encourage you and warn you to be on guard, that there is psyop after psyop. There is confusion being thrown at us from every direction. Their goal is to cause chaos, to cause confusion, to cause despair, to cause you to not understand what's going on, to look over here, to look over there. It's called sleight of hand. Again, in my videos, I've talked about how I believe that these individuals are magicians. Again, not in this hocus pocus type of fantasy world, but real life magicians who speak life out. They really believe in the esoteric knowledge of the occult and that they have power with their rituals and whatnot. And they believe it. They are very spiritual. There are spiritual principalities behind them, very wicked entities, and they are implementing their warfare upon us. And we as the church, we are supposed to be the ones to be salt and light out there, to be on guard, taking heed that nobody deceives us, to war in the spirit and to call out these deceptions, to call out the warfare. But right now, the majority of the church has fallen for idolatry, completely blinded by the political system, the left-right false paradigm, the false dichotomy, completely just clinging to this world, not taking 1 John 2:15 to heart, to not love the world nor the things in the world, and being completely blinded by these politicians. But to those who are the remnant, to those who are the watchmen and watchwomen who can see the writing on the wall, right now it's time to get your heart right, to prepare your heart for the coming of the Lord. Really working on your thoughts, perspective, and your emotions, on how you respond to individuals, how you respond to world events going on, and taking a step back to look at the bigger picture, always understanding there is a deeper agenda at play spiritually. And a prime example of taking a step back to look at the bigger picture, to look at the deeper agenda or the problem, reaction, solution is the immigration crisis, or the immigration issue, where for the last 4 years we had the left wing of the same bird allowing every individual known to man into the United States free, willy-nilly, right? Just come on over. And now you have the right wing, the red side, coming in to bring forth this justice, the hammer, but they are then bringing forth biometrics. This is the Trojan horse to bring in a biodigital convergence of surveillance. And we need to be on guard. Again, the immigrants are the Trojan horse, or the scapegoat, however you want to say it, right? They are the ones who are going to be targeted first, but it will then leach over to
Create the
other
problem and fix it.
individuals, to us. That's how this deception works. So we need to be on guard. We need to guard our heart, and we really need to be careful of being so biased. I mean, it's killing me right now where I can't even watch pastors anymore. Pastors I used to respect, I used to watch and learn so much from, and they're so biased with their political views, where they can't see what's going on spiritually. Their discernment is lacking, but yet they don't think so. They think that they have it all right because of the evil left, but they can't see the evil right in front of their eyes. The angel of light who comes, or an angel who comes as an angel of light. It's hard to stomach sometimes watching the church go into full apostasy, whether it's to the left with progressive Christianity, which again is apostate, or the Christian nationalist, NAR, postmillennialism, or just Dominion Now, whatever slice you want to have it, where they are too political with the right, where again apostate. So we as believers, we want to not be defiled by this world. We want to really take a step back, not being a part of this world, not going to the left or to the right, being down the middle, being for Jesus Christ, following him because he is the truth, the way, and the life.
Jesus.
Speaking out against both sides, understanding that this political system, the left-right false paradigm, is a demonic system of control and enslavement that was brought to you by.
It's a distraction to keep us against each other, and they have hundreds of topics you can hate each other on, left, right, all. We're not going to get into those topics. You know what they are. They're out there, black, white. Come on, you name it. Thoughts?
Oh yeah, no, you're right. They're using it all, and he did leave one out. He said, "Oh, it's Joel's army, and it's the militant church." But it's talking about like the New Apostolic Reformation and how they're helping to bring in the United, and them and the United Nation are helping to bring in the New World Order. And then there's Joel's army, who is the militant church, but they all are Christians, but they're all helping to bring in a New World Order.
Remember, their motto is order out of chaos. So they have the left do something that then creates the right to react, to cause chaos, and then they have the right to do something that then causes the left to respond and to cause chaos and confusion. So we need to be on guard. And also, just remember, spiritually speaking, the enemy is always constantly trying to cause confusion, cause chaos, to cause doubt and worry. So therefore, we need to stand firmly on God's word. We need to keep our eyes focused upon Jesus, for he is the author and the perfecter of our faith. And we need to remember who we are in Jesus Christ, understanding our identity, knowing our eternal security, that we can rest in him, that he lives inside of us. He will go forth as a mighty warrior, and that we can look to him in his word to discern everything going on right now. He truly is the way, the truth, and the life, and we need to be on guard of the enemy trying to creep in with religion, because false religion will take aspects of the Bible, of the way, and try to twist it and make it carnal, to make it worldly. So we need to be on guard, spiritually speaking, loving God, loving others, speaking truth, being salt and light, and resting in the joy and the peace of God. Remember that. So with all this chaos going on, if you feel fear, you feel anxiety, you can know without a shadow of a doubt that's not from the Lord, because he does not give us the spirit of fear, but the spirit of power, love, and a sound mind. And he gives us the peace that surpasses all understanding, that will guard our heart and our mind. So always remember that, beloved. If you have any type of fear, anxiety, stress, you are then forgetting your identity. You are forgetting the eternal hope that we have in Christ Jesus, that we are going to be glorified one day. And that is why it is so critical that each day we look up and we realize that our redemption draws near, and we can find hope and peace in him for that. So with that being said, guys, for those who are not believers, it's not too late. You can trust and believe in Jesus Christ for eternal life, the Son of God, who came to live the perfect life for you, shed his perfect blood on the cross, buried for 3 days, and he rose on the third to prove to you and the whole world that he is the one who conquered sin and death, and that you can also be glorified, resurrected like him, if you trust and believe in him for this childlike faith in him for eternal life, that he is the God who saves, the God who created you, and he wants to have a friendship with you. So with that, guys, I love you all so much. God bless. Remember, the just shall live by faith.
Every ancient alphabet, bar none, has always from day one with each letter had a mysterious number associated with the letter. The study of that code is called gematria, atomic mass of the elements. The numbers of the atomic mass are the numbers that equate to the mysterious letters in the ancient alphabets. What that means is when you look at human DNA, or the DNA of any life, the numbers that equate to those become 1, 5, 6, and 3 literally reads, literal, God eternal within the body. God eternal within the body. It is in Hebrew and
On our DNA,
Aramaic
guys.
and Sanskrit, 3 of the root languages. If there's an intentionality
DNA.
underlying life itself and human life specifically, it would make tremendous sense to me that who or whatever is responsible would somehow have left a sign. Why place that signature into something that can crumble over a few thousand years, like a temple wall, or into the pages of a book that can be destroyed? Why not put it in the
Because we're the
So,
temple of God.
amen. And this is why we are so emphatic when we talk about changing your DNA in any way, shape, or form, because
Amen.
he's got his name written all over every cell of your body, inside and out. He's got us in his hands.
Amen. Yes, he does.
Well, that's all for us for this week, unless you have something to add, Shelley. And we
No,
have
that's
lots more to
great.
talk about next week.
Yes, we have a lot to talk about next week. So God bless everyone.
God
Take care.
bless you guys. See you next time.